Okay. To call to order the Tuesday, December 1st, 2020 meeting of the Danville City Council. Madam Clerk, roll call to establish a quorum, please.
Mayor Ricky Williams Jr.,
Present.
Alderman Robert Williams, Aaron Troya,
Present.
Sherry Pickering, Michael Kane,
Here.
Bob Iverson,
Present.
Rick Streeting,
Here.
Mike Poor,
Present.
Steve Foster,
Present.
Sharon McMahon,
Here.
Brenda Brown,
Present.
RJ Davis,
Here.
Dan Duncan,
Here.
James Bouchard,
Present.
Tom Stone,
Here.
13 present.
13 present. We do have a quorum. At this time, we have the invocation led by Alderman Brown, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by myself.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you once more and again for this wonderful day that you provide for us. We thank you for those present at the meeting, and we ask your blessings upon each one. We ask you to bless those that are not present. Father, now we thank you for this great city of Danville, and we ask that the leaders and the mayor, the council, all staff, just be blessed with wisdom and discernment as we continue, even though we're struggling with some difficult times. But we know things will get better in time. So we just want to say thank you anyhow for even the rough times. It seems as though because of such a great leadership in this city that we are able to get through these rough times. We ask you to bless all those with this COVID as it seems to do a boomerang and getting worse in some areas. We ask that you continue to guide the doctors and nurses that take care of these people that are sick with this disease. We thank you for those that have recovered from this. Now we ask that you bless this meeting, guide our thoughts, our minds, and our hearts. We ask this in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very
Didn't see the
much.
flag, Mayor.
Pardon?
I didn't see the flag.
Oh, you didn't see it?
Oh, okay. I see it now.
It's a small guy. I apologize.
No, that's okay. I've been seeing him today. I missed it. That's okay. We just
I think it was turned a little bit weird. Item 4 is the approval of the minutes from the November 17th meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. We also have an agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes.
When would be an appropriate time, or should I ask for an amendment to the agenda to discuss the city's response to the pandemic?
There's no need to add that to the agenda. That would be something that we could discuss under number 16, items of information.
That seems a little bit far into the meeting, and I'd like a little bit more discussion than just items of information, if possible.
Well, we're not going to be voted on it, so I guess we could really put it wherever, but if we had known that we needed this, we could have added it earlier, certainly. Where would you like to add it for discussion, sir?
How about under mayor's comments?
Sure, that'd be fine.
Thank you.
You mean under the items of information, under the report for myself?
That would be perfect, yes.
Okay. All righty. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as? Right, I didn't know if do we need, Madam Clerk, do we need to amend
Amend the agenda.
No, I don't think we do. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. In terms of report for myself, there are no proclamations, or there are no board committee personnel appointments. Are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? All right, seeing none, it's time for items of information. I have a couple of things for you, but we can go ahead and start with the COVID-19. Since you asked for it, I will let you, Alderman Duncan, lead the discussion.
Obviously, I'm concerned about our lack of response to the pandemic. It seems like the governor of Illinois seems to have said that we need to buckle up and try to solve the problem so he doesn't have to totally lock down everything. And driving south to Tilton, I see La Potacina full. Driving to the bank, I see Jocko's parking lot full. Hay Hills Restaurant is reopening today. I don't see how the welfare of those restaurants is more important than the health of all my constituents. Our hospital is close to capacity now, and I'm very, very concerned that we are rolling the dice way too many times and we're going to hurt ourselves. Is there anything, and I know that this isn't directly the city's purview of enforcement, but is there anything we can do to help prevent a public health crisis in Vermilion County and specifically in the city of Danville? Because I think we're so many missteps into ignoring all of this that we're going to overcrowd our hospital and we're going to have serious problems by the beginning of the year. What can the city do to help curb that, to help our businesses follow the state guidelines and to keep our hospitals under capacity?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, our hospital is not close to capacity. The last report that I received, we were at 64%. So we still do have substantial room. That is without them adding.
A third of a few beds is not substantial. I don't mean to interrupt you, but 2/3 full, 1/3 empty, and there aren't very many beds in our ICU. I think that leaves like 5 beds empty. I don't think that's substantial.
No, it's not just 5 beds, but as I was saying, that does not include the mitigation that the additional space that they have created should it be needed at our hospital as well. So that's the first thing. Number two, unfortunately, there are several court rulings that have ruled that the governor exceeded his authority by continuing to press on with the mandates that he has. So legally, there is nothing that I can point to in the law that says you have to do this or you must do this. We've even had calls with the head of the state, the head of the state police, who cannot give us anything to refer us to of where we could fine or cite people. The only way that could happen is if the city council were to pass some kind of legislation regarding the issue. So if we were to do something now, essentially what you would be doing is asking us to violate the law, the actual law, and probably face a whole host of lawsuits. So all of that to say, what I have been strongly encouraging everyone to do is to continue to wear their mask, and not just to wear them, but to wear them properly, to social distance whenever possible, even when they're inside stores, and those kinds of things, to absolutely avoid large gatherings. For example, normally we probably have 40 to 60 people for Thanksgiving, and this year it was just my mom and dad and I. So legally, we're kind of in a conundrum because there's no way, unless the city council should choose to create legislation to address or punish people for violations, there's not a law for me to enforce or to ask our law enforcement folks to enforce, Alderman Dungeon.
That's scary to say the least. Again, I don't want to pick on Jocko's and La Potacina, but you drive by there and there's 60 cars in the parking lot. They're not social distancing. That puts the employees at risk. It puts the customers at risk. It puts me at risk because of the super spread that's going to happen. There's got to be something we can do to discourage their staying open or to encourage people to stay at home. 2/3 capacity is scary at our hospital. If you've had to ever go to the emergency room in Danville before the pandemic, it was a 5-hour wait. I'd hate to see what's going to happen if it gets any more than 2/3 full. And I can't believe that the governor's orders can be flaunted that flagrantly. I mean, I can believe it, but I'm disappointed in it.
The governor's orders, unfortunately,
can we do anything with
are
their
not
liquor
legal.
license? Can we do anything with their business license? What can we do to help them keep my constituents and my family safe?
Well, the other thing is, I think that we have to think about this holistically. There are many different kinds of safety. For example, our aggravated domestic batteries are way up. Our child abuse and neglect are way up. Our food lines and our food pantries are nearly overwhelmed. The problem is, Alderman Dungeon, you and I are at great liberty because we could not show up for work at all, and we're going to be okay. We're going to eat, we're going to be able to care for our families, etc. We're going to be able to meet our obligations. Unfortunately, that's not the case for a lot of people in our community. I get calls daily from people who are working, who literally have maxed out credit cards and taken on more credit cards to pay for things. I have people that have taken on second mortgages for their homes. I have people that have lost their homes. And I know a lot of folks would say, oh, life is more important than any of that, and I would agree, but we have to look at all aspects of life, just not life or death. I think the only way that you really get people to stay home is if the government were to provide some type of income for everyone to be able to. And I think expecting everyone to stay home, when they don't have the same kind of assurances and safety nets that you and I have, is unrealistic. And since we don't have an actual law on our side, again, as I discussed with one of our aldermen earlier, we would literally be setting ourselves up for tremendous lawsuits if we were to arrest or fine. I am not willing to take somebody who is literally fighting for their life. I'm not willing to take their liquor license because they continue to serve people, because I think you could possibly do that and do so safely, but you have to be able to be safe. And that's the biggest problem, is to keep social distance, wear your masks, except if you're eating or drinking. But I don't think there is a way for us, unless you all create a law that says this is the rule here in the city of Danville, Illinois. There is no constitutional or legal right that I have as the mayor to do something to these folks. Even if I took their liquor license right now, I'm not going to take it because I would face a hell of a lawsuit, both personally and professionally, and the city would too. As I discussed with Alderman Stone earlier, this puts us in a no-win situation because there's nothing legally that I have that I can say, okay, here's why you have to do this.
Is there anything the governor can do that we can encourage him or request that he do? I mean, it's the rising numbers are fearful, to say the least, and I'm not blaming you in any means. And I was pretty sure that was the answer, is there's nothing we can do. but there should be something we can do to make the citizens of Danville safer. Because right now, we're on a trajectory for a very unsafe conditions, but by January. Is there anything the governor can do that we can encourage or ask or request the governor to do for us?
You know, what we encourage people to do is to call Illinois Department of Public Health or the governor's office, and what we've been told is basically no one returns their calls. The only thing that we could do is we could possibly put some form of mask mandate like other places have. My concern then is enforcement.
Right.
I mean, you've seen people literally get in fights. You've seen people getting shot, stabbed, and killed over controversies at masks. So are we expecting someone who makes $10 an hour to follow people around Walmart and enforce them to put their mask on? I don't know. I just wish people would use some common sense. It would make life a lot easier for all of us, but sadly they aren't. So enforcement, you all know how many police officers we have on the street at any given time. So what is it, every time that an establishment calls us and someone refuses to wear a mask, are we going to take our officers away from domestic violence situations and other things to then go in and enforce that? All that to say, Alderman Dungeon, I wish that I had a good answer for you. I don't. I'll be honest. I
thank you for your time. I think it needed to be discussed.
Yes, no, and I know other people have concerns as well, so I'm sure that you won't be the only one who wishes to comment. Alderman, Vice Mayor Iverson, I see that you have your hand up.
Yeah, as I understand the decisions against the governor not having the authority, they said that the Department of Public Health has that type of authority. So that would be true in the county too, that the Vermilion County Department of Health would have the authority. But then we have the problem of the health department people in Vermilion County are vastly overworked right now, just keeping up with the numbers. So I don't know how you'd ever be able to get the health department to go enforce whether or not you're wearing a mask in a restaurant. So that's another one of those, there are things you can do, but realistically, as long as people are resisting it, we don't want to make a whole matter worse with arrests and getting people like the police and the health department doing things that they don't have time to do now.
Any other comments? Alderman Trolia.
I feel completely the opposite way. I'm proud of the Danville businesses for standing up to these illegal, these aren't even laws, these are just guidelines, and they're shutting them down and not giving them any government assistance, and they're going to lose their businesses. I'm proud of them for standing up for us. That's all I got on it.
Alderman Trolia, I would add, I don't have an issue with any businesses that are following good safety protocols. I understand, and your point is well taken. What I have a problem with is when I go into Lowe's and I see some Yahoo walking around with no mask on, or with the mask hanging off so that his nose is still free. That makes no sense to me. I believe in considering others above yourself, and I feel like the very least courtesy that we can show other people is when we are out in public, unless we're eating or drinking, that we wear our masks, or unless you're outdoors, far away from other people. But if you're indoors in any way, you ought to wear your mask and wear it properly and socially distance as much as you can. I think, again, that's just basic consideration for your fellow man, unless you're eating or drinking. That's my opinion. Any other discussion or debate? Thank you, everyone, for that. I just wanted to let you know that we are close to finishing up the project on Harrison Street downtown. I don't know if you had a chance to drive, but they cleared up the rubble. It's starting to look a lot better. Also, our team from Public Works did an amazing job. We had crews of folks who they didn't take overtime. They actually did a shift change, and they worked overnight from like 9:30 at night until 6:30 in the morning for, I think, almost 2 weeks to get all the decorations up downtown. So just want to send a shout out to all the people from Public Works, the guys and gals who made that possible, to Steve Lane for all of his hard work in getting the decorations, and designing everything. I want to thank David Rui and Carl for getting the guys and gals rounded up to put everything up. It really just looks really fantastic downtown, and I would strongly encourage you to ride down there one night and take a look at everything if you haven't had a chance to do so yet. It looks really good. I also want to remind everybody of a couple of fun contests that we have, hopefully, to lift people's spirits up. One is at the Santa House. There's a life-size Santa Claus that a local artist has done for us. It's really awesome. I mean, it's really well painted. It's at the Santa House in Temple Plaza. Since kids can't go and actually see Santa or sit on his lap this year, hopefully they can go downtown and take a selfie with Santa. It's not exactly the same, but it's still pretty cool. Also at the Santa House, they can drop off letters to Santa. And if they drop those off by December 20th, they will get a letter back from Santa. There's also a coloring contest. The folks from Bowers Tree Service are the sponsors for that, and the winners of that will receive a bike and $50 in local business gift certificates. So that's pretty cool. The last thing that we have going on is light up our neighborhoods, and it's a decorating contest. And as of this morning, we had 17 houses that had signed up for that. And once we have all the houses on this Friday, we'll put out a list. That way folks can just punch the addresses of their GPS, go out and take a look at all of the lights, and then take a picture of their favorite one. And then so we'll have prizes there as well. Classic Homes Realty is sponsoring most of the prizes there. And as our contribution, we're using some Google Play cards that have been purchased in the previous year. So a lot of exciting, fun things going on to try to help put a smile on people's face in such a tough time that we're facing. Any questions about any of that so far? The other thing that I have for you, unfortunately, is a letter of resignation that I received that I would like to read to you. Dear Mayor, this year of the pandemic has been very difficult for you and all our citizens. While my health is very good, I am at higher risk having been treated for cancer, now in remission for 5+ years at my age of 80+. I and my wife are apparently susceptible to contracting the virus. Obviously, the less exposure, the better. The need for a minimum of 3 meetings monthly and more for the city council is considerable. Even though we have gone to online meetings, they are still, and I fear for some time to come, taxing and cumbersome. The preparation, emails, phone calls, and correspondences requires a great deal of my time each week. I have been involved in city, county, and city businesses and organizations for more than 35 years, serving on many boards and commissions as a member, including presidents and chairmen. It is my sincere desire that I continue to be involved in our community, perhaps requiring less time. Meetings of 1 per month and perhaps 1 additional quarterly, like the governmental VA group I was in, would be acceptable. In addition to my proposed limited time reductions, I also am writing a book for some time. I want to complete it as a goal and devote more attention to my many study groups, sharing my common interests, all while I still have some time to do so. As I mentioned to you previously, I consider running for alderman would consume much time and create some potential health risks in cold weather as well. Just to gather my petitions needed going door to door in November and all winter into spring is questionable. People, because of the virus, are uneasy about even opening their doors, let alone to sign and handle petitions on a clipboard. So elected offices are out of my probabilities, as I would need to be appointed only to any future public services. I believe my resignation prior to finishing my term's ending May 4th, 2021 is wise, more helpful to the city and my constituents, allowing you to appoint a replacement in December. This would be an advantage to all for the experience gained in the months prior to May's normal swearing in. Therefore, I respectfully tender my resignation as of the end of this year, December 31st, 2020, which in doing so allows you time to appoint my replacement in the December council meeting of Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. December has 5 weeks, so 2 full weeks can be used to help acclimate and prepare your appointee, reading various manuals, visiting divisions and directors, etc. I would also be pleased to meet with your appointee over the holidays if desired for some coaching. The first meeting and swearing in can then occur seamlessly on January 5th, 2021, or on December 15th, effective January 1st, 2021. And my replacement will officially take office then. Respectfully, Stephen E. Foster, Alderman, Ward 7, Chairman of Public Services. I tell you, although I knew that this was likely coming, when I finally received it, it gave me a little bit of sadness. When I came on the council, Mr. Foster was someone who kind of mentored me. He was one of the few people that asked questions, and it gave me courage to ask questions. And quite honestly, he's been someone that I can count on to give me wise counsel and to review things. He's given a great amount of service to the city of Danville, and I think has been a diligent and faithful servant. So although I am happy for him that he'll have some more time on his hands, I am sad for us. And Mr. Foster, we assuredly appreciate all of your service, sir. Chairman Poor. Mr. Foster, do you wish to? Mr. Foster, Chairman, do you wish to say anything before I ask anyone else to speak, or is it okay to go to the floor? Okay, Chairman Poor.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to echo your comments. I've known Steve and his wife for, my gosh, since 1995, I believe, when I first started going to city council meetings. But I've had the privilege of serving with Steve for over 20 years as an alderman. I understand his concerns. Steve's been a wonderful force in this community and all the different boards and agencies he's served on, and he has my utmost respect and my hopes and congratulations. I'd like to see a copy of that book when it's written, and then but good luck, Steve, and Godspeed.
Thank you, Chairman. Does anyone else wish to offer any comments at this time?
I'd like to say something.
Yes, Alderman Brown.
Okay, I've known him since since he came on. Well, my husband went on in 1987, and then I think it was right after that Steve was on, or anyway, I've known him for a long, long time. And then when I came on, he always tried to steer me and guide me on how to do. Even the first time I had to preside over a meeting, and he was helping me before I got there, tell me what I could do. Always calling, giving advice on different things that maybe he wasn't sure that I understood or would need to know to make a good alderman. So I do appreciate the time that he did take with me to help me, and the relationship that I've had with Steve for a long time. It didn't just start when I came on in 2015. I've known him a long time. I wish him Godspeed, and to he and his wife both.
Thank you, Alderman Brown. Are there any other comments?
Mayor, I'd like to say something also.
Yes, Alderman.
Yeah, Alderman Foster was the very first one to call and congratulate me, and I appreciated that. And also, I've listened to him in all these meetings and have gained a little bit of knowledge. I'm not where I need to be as far as being a councilman, but I have gleaned some knowledge from just listening to him, what his input is in these meetings, and I really appreciate him as a gentleman and as a councilman.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Iverson.
Yes, Alderman Foster was on the city council back when I was on the first time. And when I came back on this time, I was glad to see that he was still there, because I needed his information, and people always find him thoughtful, and he's well thought out on all the issues, doesn't just speak to be heard. He speaks because he has something important to say. And I'm going to miss him being here to help us in Ward 7.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other comments?
Yeah, Mayor, this is Steve. I might add, I want to thank you all, and I'm sure I'll hear from everybody, because you still got me for 2 more meetings, and I'll be shooting from the hip at least once, you know that. So if I don't make you all mad by the end of the year, I guess I failed you. But at any rate, I'm looking forward to tonight's meeting where I'll probably do some bell raisings. Thank you.
Thanks, Chairman. Chairman Ford?
Steve and I share a very special moment, and Steve, you may remember this, when you had to have your dog put down. And we'll just leave it at that. That was a very heartwarming and sad time for you, and I was glad to be a part of it.
Thanks, Chairman.
Thanks, Mike. We got
All right, thank you, everyone. There are no zoning petition, oh, I'm skipping things. Madam Clerk, are there any petitions, communications, audience, or audience comments that you received?
No, Mayor.
Okay, at this time, we will open the public hearing on the annual budget for fiscal year 2021, 2022. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on the issue? We did have one person come to City Hall. Okay, it appears the person does not wish to speak. Alderman, do you have any comments? Seeing no comments, I will officially close the public hearing. Thank you very much. Item 8 are zoning petitions, which we have none. Item 9 is the approval of the payrolls. We have the payrolls from November 20th as well as November 25th. Is there a motion to approve those?
Move to approve.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams, Troya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Strebe,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Foster,
yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. Item 10 is approval of vouchers payable. You have the vouchers for November 24th as well as December 1st, 2020. Is there a motion to approve those?
Second, Stone.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams, Troya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson, Strebe,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Dungeon,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. Item 11 is the Public Works Committee report. Chairman Poor.
Thank you, Mayor. We will meet via Zoom next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. One question I did have possibly for Director Carpenter. Yard waste officially stops on the 7th, is that correct?
No, that's the last week. It'll be the 11th is the last day of pickup.
Okay, so the week of the 7th through the 11th is
Correct.
okay.
Correct.
Some people were questioning me. So,
And then we'll do, Chairman, we'll do the live Christmas tree pickup, and any leftover yard waste will be picked up. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but it would be what, 1, 2, 3, the week of the 4th through the 9th of January, and then the 12th through the 15th as well. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Carpenter, did you have any items for the good of the cause?
Yeah, just let council know we did start receiving our shipment of rock salt in today. What did we get, Dave? Over 100 tons today alone. So we're all ready to go whenever it snows. That's all I got.
Carl, how did was the price basically the same, or did it go up a lot, or what?
No, it actually went down.
Okay,
We saved quite a bit. What was it, Dave? It was about half the cost of last year.
oh, great,
Oh,
great.
And Director, we did go ahead and still stock, because it was so cheap, we stocked up as much as we could per our agreement,
Absolutely.
correct?
We took the 120% allotment, which is the maximum you can take.
So we got 120% and it was still cheaper than last year, Chairman Core.
Yes, yes.
Good job.
Any questions for Director Carpenter? All right, thank you. At this time, we'll receive our Public Services Committee report. Chairman Foster.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the last 28 years, I've had two occasions where we didn't have a quorum. Once when I was chairman of Public Works, and more lately, last week. What happens is that we had three people show, and I appreciate that because I know everybody's really busy. But it occurred to me that if we'd known in advance that we wouldn't had a quorum, if we like got a phone call or something like that, most people don't show us. Maybe some kind of an emergency indicates Alderman Brown. I did learn later that she actually was in the emergency room from that afternoon until 9 o'clock that night, and she didn't even have a phone to call, but she sure wanted to. She called me, however, and told me that later. But it occurred to me, maybe, yeah, Alderman Brown, yeah, right. She was in the emergency room. But of those of you that can't make a meeting like that, maybe if you could call me or the mayor, better the mayor, but me or whoever's the chairman. In this case, it'll be next month. It'll be
Alderman McMahon.
Yeah, McMahon, yeah. So anyway, give us a call, because if we know in time, we can even notify the media as well, and we can cancel it. But what we did in that meeting, and it's very rare, but for your information, we go ahead and we went every item on the agenda. We can only comment on them or ask questions. We cannot vote for them on them one way or another. So everything goes completely on the agenda that you have in front of you, goes to the council tonight for action. Otherwise, we're going to handle it like we'd normally. It would have passed the commission if we only had a quorum, probably 4-0. But that being the case, you might consider that if you're really going to be at a meeting, if you have a chance to give the mayor, I'm not going to make it tonight, then we know whether or not we could just cancel the meeting so everybody could have gone home. It turned out to be a lengthy meeting, as it turned out, because there's a lot of questions. But anyway, having said that, on your tonight is a resolution, and all these were sent to council without a vote, authorizing execution amendment of the Downstate Operating Assistance Grant Agreement. And so at this time, I will make a motion that we approve it, that we waive the reading, and I'll need a second for that.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my little hand. I can't find it. Anyway, could Lisa explain a little bit of this? I'm sorry. I meant to call her and I didn't get her called. Sorry.
Sure, that's fine. So every year we go through and create a budget just the same way the city does. And we have to submit that to IDOT because they're the entity that reimburses us for 65% of our operating funds. So this is 65% of our budget that will be coming from the Department of Transportation.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Any other discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Stone,
Yes.
Williams, Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson, Streaming,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. B is a resolution authorizing a budget amendment in finance. I think Ashley's here tonight. So if there's any questions on that, she's here to answer your questions, but I move for its approval and that we waive the reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Williams, Troya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Strebe,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. Item C is also a resolution authorizing acceptance of a donation and budget amendment in the police department. Again, the chief is here. If you have any questions, but I move for its approval and acceptance and to waive its reading.
Alderman Straben will second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Troya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Strebe,
Yes.
Moore,
Mike, you're.
Chairman, you're muted.
Oh, okay. Well, I pushed the space bar to set unmute, but yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. The next three resolutions, D, E, and F, are in regards to amendments in Harrison Park. We can pull any one out, but otherwise I would move that we take all three of them together, waive their readings, and
Second, Alderman Poor.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate?
I better read them to the record, Mayor, then.
Yes, sir.
This is an amendment to the general fund. It's number one for Harrison Park, and 400 budgets to clean line items and to facilitate a one-time transfer. There's a financial transfer. And then E was a resolution for a budget amendment in Harrison Park for workers' compensation and general liability insurance. It was a low amount, but we had to balance the budget. On the resolution for F was an authorizing the budget amendment in Harrison Park and for the repayment of the golf cart loan. So that's what we're going to vote on tonight. Is there any questions on any of those again?
Thanks, Chairman. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Strebe,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams, Troya,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution G is approving a support amendment with Tyler Technologies. This has to do with the IT department. Angela Silva is here to answer any questions that I move for its approval to waive the reading.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate?
My hand's up again.
Okay, Alderman Pickering.
Is this the same or has it gone up?
Every year, we kind of split pay this, I mean, it goes up just a little, by a certain percentage, but we already had this agreement under New World Systems. That's where we bought the software from, but that now it's acquired by Tyler Technologies, yes. So we're just changing the name from New World to Tyler Technologies.
Oh, okay.
And then just renewing the maintenance agreement with them.
Okay. Thank you.
And this is already budgeted and it comes out of the support, computer support and services line.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You are.
Thank you, Alderman Pickering. Any further discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Strebe,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams, Troya.
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. H is a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Danville Community Consolidated School District 118 for school resource officer. Again, the chief is here to answer any questions. And why don't we take I with that, since that's also an intergovernmental agreement with Danville Community Consolidated 118 for reciprocal reporting, and the chief can explain that as well if anybody wants to understand that. But I move to for its approval to waive the reading.
Stone second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate?
Again.
Yes, Alderman Pickering.
Because of the school, they're doing the remote learning. How does this affect our SRO?
Chief.
Yeah, what we do is, and I stay in close contact with the superintendent's office, and the SROs will still work at a certain capacity because they still have to do home checks. They still have to do follow-ups, such as if there's any type of concern for the student at home. So they're working along with the teaching staff and the school administrators and doing things such as that. That makes it sometimes it's difficult for a teacher to go into different areas that they're more comfortable with the police being there. But for the most part, it's a week by week or sometimes even day by day communication between myself, the commanders, superintendents, and the SROs as to how can we most efficiently use them to where they're working with the school district, as well as filling some gaps that we may have on the street that would, there's in the MOU that we have, there's really with the school district. When we started these, we didn't consider it a pandemic.
Right.
However, we've got a wonderful relationship with District 118, so we've been able to work out most of the issues that were not covered in any type of an agreement, and so we're moving forward with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chief. And Alderman Pickering, I might add that, as Chief said, that the district has been wonderful to work with us. They continue to be a good partner. Continue on days that they don't have as much for our officers to do to work with us to allow them to help out on the streets. And so that's been a phenomenal asset for our community.
You're right. Okay, thank you.
And a lot of times you're welcome. They're also doing work in the neighborhoods of the schools particularly. So.
Right, good, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, one thing also they do every week is they help with the meals and the food. That's every day, and they do that. They actually, the SROs have been very good about adjusting their schedules to work different times, different days. For instance, one of them will work second shift on patrol and then go to the school the next day. And so it's been, even though there's challenges and stuff and figuring it out, the logistics, but for the most part, everybody's really came together well on it.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor.
Alderman Bouchard, yes, sir.
Yeah, we have 3 of those that work this area. Is that correct? The schools?
Yes, sir.
Now, are these, this may sound like a dumb question, but are these our regular police officers, or are these a specifically different type of an officer?
No, they are regular, fully uniformed officers.
Okay, great. Does our general public, are they aware that these officers are in our school system to help protect our children?
I think most people are generally aware, Alderman, but I'm not sure that all would know that, would pay attention to that.
Okay.
Thank you, Alderman.
Mayor,
Yes, Chief.
Mayor, if I may add, they are sworn officers. They're a part of the department. They were selected as a special unit through interviews process and merit, but they're also trained additionally in different topics, and they're certified school resource officers as well on top of their regular patrol duties and their certifications. They also go through ongoing training, critical incident management, critical incident response, and certified. So like our officers on the street, they're specialized in different areas with ongoing training and other mandates. the SROs have not only that, but they also have a separate curriculum of training that they have to maintain and go through every year. And, that's something that we've added and increased.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. Let the record reflect that Alderman Williams has joined us. Good to see you this evening, sir. All right, thank you.
One other thing, Mr. Mayor, I was going to ask. You mentioned about the lunch. Are there classes at all being conducted in mornings or afternoons at the school, or are they basically, Chief, are there any classes right now at the high school? I mean, I'm not keeping up on that. So,
right now, we are, I believe, completely remote. They do have some tiered plans based off different contingencies that they're wanting to do, but it's going to be a lot of it's going to be data based, and when they feel it's safe to do so under the direction of the people that they have in place, giving consideration to that.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I believe we're completely remote in District 118, unless I'm mistaken.
okay, now correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct, Chief. Chairman, we're actually completely remote in District 118 until January 11th, I believe.
I guess my follow-up question, though, was something you said. Where are the kids going for lunch? Where are they going to lunch at school? They come into school at lunch? That sounds like Dan Dunstan's story. Are the kids showing up there at lunchtime?
No, what happens
yeah, how are they feeding them? Yeah.
This is the best of my knowledge, because I'm not intimately aware of exactly how they're doing it. But from what I understand, they're different days of the week, they are giving food to the parents and the families. And it's like a drive-through scenario,
yeah,
where you'll have cars lined up quite a ways, and it's similar on how we're doing our food distribution at, like, say, St. James, where everybody's distance. They'll sometimes pop the trunk, and then the volunteers or the teachers or the officers, whoever it is, will put the food in the trunk of the car. They drive off. I do not know how many days each pickup date provides for, or how many meals, but District 118 is, and I believe they've been partnered up with McDonald's at different points of the time and assisting it. But so they've got different plans set up for meal distribution for their students, for those that have needs, as well as those who just have the opportunity. But most of it's need based. I've got 2 children in District 118. We have not gone to it, but a lot of people have, and it's very helpful for them. So that's something that they are considering and doing.
Thanks, Chief. Yeah, under items information.
Chairman, we still have to vote on those items.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Is there any
H
other
and I.
questions?
It's H and I.
Yes, sir. All right, seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Treating,
Yes.
Ford, Foster,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. Because our meeting was quite different last week, if there's any items of information for the department heads under public service, and I see DeSilva's here and Maccabee's here, Sanders here. If you have any questions for them, or if any of you have any items of information on your department, like DeSilva, anybody, please feel free to step up. Here's Sandra. Nothing?
Chairman Ford, did you have a question?
Yes, Mayor, I just wanted to, there were 4 items that would have gone to Public Works normally, but due to some time constraints and necessity to get things in earlier, they all moved to Public Services to be voted on.
Thank you, Chairman.
And that system's worked out very well this year because of the pandemic. Mike and I have gone back and forth. He takes his stuff and I take his, and we're keeping score.
That's right. You're ahead.
I'm up on Mike.
Very good. Thank you, everyone. If it'd be the pleasure of the council, I would move to take items 13 and 14 together. Item 13 is accept and place on file the annual report of the Board of Trustees Policeman's Pension Fund for fiscal year 2019, 2020. And item 14 is to accept and place on file the annual report of the Board of Trustees Fireman's Pension Fund for the fiscal year 2019, 2020. I would entertain a motion to approve those and to suspend the reading.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please. Oh, I apologize. We can do a voice vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we continue, under items of information,
Yes.
our Chairman Foster will still be chair of the Public Service Committee, where we'll be having a meeting on fourth Tuesday. I know that's the week of Christmas or whatever, but I just wanted to check and see. We didn't usually under items of information, he'll announce that, but it wasn't announced.
No, we discussed that.
I apologize. We will have to see Alderman Brown as we get a little bit closer for sure whether or not we're going to have that meeting. I'm hoping that we'll be able to give you guys that week off, but I'm not certain. We should know hopefully by that Wednesday or Thursday beforehand.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Item 15 is the tax levy and downtown Danville Inc. budget. If it'd be the pleasure, since these are all pertaining to the same thing, that we vote on them all simultaneously. Item A is an ordinance approving the 2020 tax levy. Item B is an ordinance abating a portion of the 2020 tax levy for sanitary sewer fund, series 2019. Item C is an ordinance abating a portion of the 2020 tax levy for solid waste fund, series 2019. Item D is an ordinance abating a portion of the 2020 tax levy for infrastructure development and improvement program, series 2019. Item E is an ordinance abating a portion of the 2020 tax levy for community reinvestment fund, series 2019. Item F is an ordinance abating a portion of the 2020 tax levy for capital improvements fund, also series 2019. Item G is an ordinance approving the tax levy and assessment for taxes for special service area number 1. Item H is an ordinance establishing budget for FY 2021 for special service area number 1. And item I is an ordinance approving tax levy and extending the special tax within special service area number 2 extended. I would ask for a motion to approve those and to suspend the reading.
So moved.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Yes, Alderman Dungeon.
Notice you gave a list of the paying bodies for special service area number 2, but for special service area number 1, which is downtown Danville, does anybody know right offhand how many payers or how many payees are in special service area number 1, or can I get a list of that? Because there's actually a very relatively small number of people who pay that $43,000 or $45,000 tax levy, and I'm just wondering how many of us downtown really are paying that 40-some thousand.
We can absolutely get a list of that to you. I don't know that number offhand. I know that as you know, it changes quite frequently, unfortunately, with the sale of businesses and such, sale of buildings, I should say. Comptroller, is that something that you happen to have available, or will we need to send that to the alderman?
If you give me like 2 minutes, I can probably pull it up.
Thank you. Yeah. Also, if I could,
yes,
I don't know if all the other aldermen are aware, but at least the special service area number 1, that was set up by the downtown merchants, and that tax is literally voluntarily on us. We have decided to let us be taxed to support the Downtown Danville Incorporated. So I think that's something that most people think everybody in Danville pays for Downtown Danville Incorporated. but it's just us on a voluntary basis who created that SSA years ago that are paying for that. But I was just curious on how many of us there were. I think there's under 50 and maybe under 30 of us who are making those payments.
I don't know why, Alderman, the number 42 is in my mind, but I guess that's I know from a number of years ago, and it's likely changed a great deal since that time. So we'll have the comptroller look into that for us so we can know for certain.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, Mayor, just a point.
Yes, Alderman Foster.
Alderman Duncan, when you say us, you're not referring to the city. You're referring, you're a merchant downtown. Is that correct?
I'm a homeowner in downtown Danville, and since my home is in a commercial property, I pay taxes to that special service area. So when I refer to us, I mean as a downtown resident, not a Danville alderman, but a downtown resident.
So you're not saying this, the us is not the city, because you're a member of the conference.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification. Vice Mayor Iverson.
Just a question for my own information. This is the tax levy, all the various portions, but the budget we will actually approve at our next meeting at the 15th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Comptroller?
I have the legal description. It's a page and a half long, so if it's okay, I can just email it to all the aldermen for their review.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further?
It's all of the businesses within a 2-block wide and I think 3-block long or 4-block long area. So it's quite a limited number of properties that are supporting that SSA.
You're right. I think is it Maine to the south, to Madison to the north, and then to the east and west. I think, Dan, is it Hazel and then Walnut Street?
And Walnut, but just the west side of Hazel and the east side of Walnut.
That's correct. All right. Any further discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Strebe?
Yes.
Ford?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes, sorry.
McMahon?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Duncan?
I should probably abstain.
Bouchard?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Troya?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. Thank you very much. I think the people of Danville and the businesses here will be very happy to know that their property taxes are not slated to increase. Chairman Court.
Well, that's for the next item, Mayor.
Oh, okay. All right, items of information for the good of the cause. Chairman Ford.
Yes, Mayor, we all received an email concerning a Freedom of Information request that goes back to July of 2019, I believe. Is anyone that's had any discussion or emails or text messages? I'm just thinking that that's all on the city's server, so we really don't need to do anything with that. That can always be forwarded on to the person requesting that. Is that correct?
Except for the text messages. That's correct, except for the text messages, Chairman, but we would not anticipate that people would have text messages for longer than 2 days. Our rule is 2 days if they're kept. So we would not anticipate that you have any. If you have any within the last 2 days, then we would have you go ahead and screenshot and forward those on to Corporation Counsel. But other than that, no, we'll be taking care of that. We just wanted to inform you that it was in fact happening, requested, and also to let you know if you do have any text in the last 48 hours, that we would need those.
Oh, okay, because I actually set up a separate file on
disclosures.
I actually set up a separate file where I have casino information in it, but that's all the same stuff that the city already has too. So really don't need to worry about doing anything with that.
And then also, of course, if you send anything to the IGB, you would need to submit that as well too. So.
Yeah, well, then I've been Chuck Mockbee's and help. I mean, every time I send it to him and he sends it on, so.
Very
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Chairman. Any other items of information for the good of the cause?
Yeah, Mayor, I might as well, because thanks to Michael, I remember that, Mike used to run the cemetery out there and, made a living as a grave digger, right? So I called up Mike and I said, Mike, the ground is hard as rocks. We're going to have to put our dog down. Could you come over to help me? You got the tools because, you got to dig a pretty deep grave. He was a big German Shepherd, those of you that knew me. Jake the Mahatma, we called him. And he was a good soul too. But anyway, Mike came over and he handed that grave for me, stuck around, and I really appreciate that. I didn't forget it, Mike, but I just wanted to thank you again. That's
Well,
what
Steve,
all it's for. You never know when you got to bury a dog.
Hey, Steve, I remember that because I brought a guy with me and you had so many tree roots and stuff, and yeah, and it was hot.
It was bad. August the 15th. I remember the day.
Thanks. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you.
I hope that that's something that we'll always be known for in Danville, is that we take care of each other.
Yeah.
That's something that we should all be proud of and thankful for. All right, I apologize, but I do need to go into we will need to go into closed session. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session under section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss specific employees, and under section 2C11 to discuss pending litigation.
I'll second it.
So
I'll second it rather than voting no.
thank you. It's been moved by Chairman Foster. Is there a second?
Richard, second.
Right. That's
And
right.
seconded by Alderman Bouchard. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Ford,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
Mann,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Duncan.
Yes, but I will have to ask to be excused. I have an emergency call. Thank you.
Have a good evening, Alderman.
Thank you.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Streebing. 13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. We are adjourned to closed session. Please give us just a moment so that we can stop the live streaming, etc.
Are we returning, Mayor?
Yes, sir, we will need to return to those. So just stay here. You all don't need to do anything differently. Just stay here. We are going to discontinue the streaming service in a moment, and then we'll be able to resume our closed session, okay? So give us just a few minutes, please.
That's what I meant. Is the streaming going to stay for the public when they come back? When we come back?
Oh, yes, sir, absolutely.
We have to vote, yeah.
We don't have to call in and all that stuff.
Mayor, do you want all the directors to log off? I don't know if it'll continue with us.
Yes, directors, if you, I don't know how to do next time we'll be ready with a waiting room, but yes, if all the city team, if you all could log off except for Council Mockbee, thank you. And have a great evening, guys.
They'll have to
Okay.
log back.
Well, Chairman, what we have next, they won't need to be present for that vote.
Okay.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, y'all. Yes, we did. They did. Okay.